Hi.
Cool. Hey folks, how are you doing? So, welcome today for this live. I just thought I'd jump on with Linda Reynolds, who, as we all know, is the travel. She knows she's just travel in essence, in spirit, and everything. What she doesn't know about travel at the moment isn't worth knowing. Let's put it that way. And we all are living in a world where we don't really know what's going on. So I brought Linda on just to kind of give some clarification about if you're thinking about going on holiday, what do you need to consider? What do you need to know right at this moment? So Linda, thanks for joining us today. For the people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you before we start.
That's lovely. Thanks, Gary. Hi, everyone. I'm Linda Reynolds and I'm a personal travel agent. I've been in the industry over 32 years and I've worked with multiple companies, business travel houses, and I've had my own business for the last 24 years in partnership with Mid-Counties Co-op. So I have been living the last 14 months in travel long before anybody saw COVID. We knew in the travel industry it was happening because it was happening in February and where people were being isolated on boats off Japan and places like that. So most recently, me and Gary decided we would jump on and sort of update you on any up-to-date news on what's happening, sort of try and condense it down to give you some ideas. So in the last few days, last week we were given a list of green destinations or places we could go to. On that list was several places we couldn't actually go to. So Australia and New Zealand are in there. But they won't actually allow any UK visitors into that country. So when we look at the green list, there's only a few places we can actually travel to and that we're welcome to. So Gibraltar was one, the Portugal, Madeira, the Azores, and also Israel. Obviously, Israel has now been taken off that list in light of what's happening with the troubles there at the moment. So it all sounded quite promising. So yeah, plenty of interest in Portugal, Madeira and the Azores. And yesterday morning on television, it showed various people going about and getting their first flights out of the UK to go on holiday. Yep. Not as many people as we thought. The reasoning behind it is because of the rules. So there are several rules for each destination. And before you travel or book anything, and I've had this conversation with Gary a little bit earlier, just make sure you're happy with what you're going to have to do. And in the case of traveling, it is a case of having PCR tests or lateral flow tests. So to go at the moment on a green list, specifically Portugal, Madeira, Azores, you have to have 3 tests or possibly 2. So it will be a PCR test to say that you're clear to travel to that country. And then on a return to get back into the UK, you need either a lateral flow test or a PCR test, which has been notified and signified by a medical profession that the time and date you had it so that you can return on that flight home. And then on the second day of returning home, you then take another test just to make sure you've not picked up a variant. So it's quite challenging, but we have many people that are doing this, but I just wanted to point out exactly what you're going to have to do to travel at the moment.
Yeah. So things are opening up, but there are things you have to do to protect yourself and protect other people. And the test kind of goes around it. And I think I'm right in saying most countries have got different rules or different bits that they have to abide by. Is that right?
Yeah. On the green list specifically, you've got PCR tests. Now we then have amber listed countries. Now the amber listed countries, they're really saying we don't want you to go to them. Okay. We really don't want you. But if you do, this is what you need to do. So depending on the countries, it's a raft of testing. Some of them are asking you to quarantine when you get on arrival and will do a test themselves. The Pacific countries will. If you come back to the UK, you're asked to take, in fact, 3 tests. So a test to come back, a test on day 2, a test on day 5 if you want to test and release, and then a test on day 8. So once again, at the minute, the travel industry are asking, the government asking all the suppliers of PCR tests, please, can we get the price down? There is a website called covid19-testing.org /travel-testing, and they do a comparison of various people that are offering these testing in your areas, whether it will be a postal test or whether it will be one where you walk in and have to make an appointment. So that's got a lot of information on there.
It is. We've got Facebook user. Remember, if you're watching on Facebook, you need to say to Streamline it's okay to put your name. So Facebook users asked, how much did the PCR test cost?
Right, these vary incredibly. So Boots, for example, I think they're about £59, £69. Chewy, the tour operator, are offering a half price package where it's about £89, and they give you the 3 tests, the one before you go, the one for the return journey, and then the one when you get home. I think Chewy are only offering it if you've actually booked with them. Some of the private tests, if you leave it last minute and you need to turn it around quite quickly, they can be as expensive as about £170 to £190. So yeah, if you're not in an area where you've got a testing station or your post is bad, they are putting things in place to ensure that the post of your swab to the particular lab gets there in time, but obviously they have no control over the Royal Mail. So I would read very carefully, whoever you're going to use, what their guarantees are, what's postal services, or even better still, go to a clinic where you can physically walk in and know that your test is being done by a medical profession.
Makes sense. And you've hit on a good point about the Royal Mail and about you sending your tests off. And I know talking off there, you were talking about potentially the potential of the test not coming back before you need it. So is that something to kind of bear in mind? And how long before can you book these tests? And kind of when do you need to get them tested? What's the logistics around getting the tests and then getting the results back?
So if you're going to do a test where you're a medical person and you're going to their office, I would book that as soon as possible. We found at Christmas, obviously, certain dates, some of the labs before the new year weren't working on Sundays. I believe now they're working 24 hours, some of these labs are. So you need to do it within the time requested by the country, whether it be 96 hours before, 72 hours before. So my advice would be, depending on what you want to spend and what's in your area, ring up a local, Google, for example, travel clinics was one that I used in Coventry near me. Google the specific countries or go onto this COVID-19 testing website or the government website. They do have a recommendation on there, and just ring a couple up. Just ask them, I'm traveling on this date. Can you fit me in for a test? They will ask you which country you're traveling to. How many hours or days in advance do you need to have your test? Good clinics will know that. They'll know it's either 72 hours or 96 hours that you have to have your test. Mm-hmm. And then take it from there and look at the Trustpilot. What I would say is, as we come into summer and it gets busier and busier, obviously the capacity is going to increase, and we may find there's more clinics. We're hoping that the prices come down. But yeah, you need to do a bit of homework or go to a travel professional. I mean, I'm gonna blow my own trumpet here. We will assist you in giving you that information, but ultimately it is down to the traveller to ensure they've got the correct documentation and the correct tests in place before they travel.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this is why I want to get you on the live, because there's all these kind of questions, all these kind of hurdles, all these kind of tests you need to do. But sometimes it's just nice to actually talk to someone who knows what they're kind of doing it, and you're living and breathing it at the moment. So who else would you kind of want to contact and talk to? If you've got any questions, if you're watching live, please put them in the comments. Please let us know. And even if you're not watching live and you're watching back on the replay, still put them in the comments, and then I'll flag them to Linda if and when. Yeah,
by all means. I'm quite happy to help anybody. The last 14 months I've been helping lots of people, even people who have not booked with me. I just want people to have the best possible experience. And, if I can give any advice, I don't know everything. I have to do my homework. I work with Mid Counties Co-op. I've got a brilliant supporting team of people that assist me with my business. And we try to keep very much up to date. Like I say, up until Friday, we didn't know the exact information on Portugal. And then I think it was announced Friday morning by the Portuguese government exactly what the details are. And we get that sort of instantaneously. We've got various travel outlets, media that are, right there at the pulse waiting, or part of ABTA or in touch with the government so they can bring this news out, accurately, but it does change all the time. I mean, even since Friday, we've had another update. I've got another update here of all the countries and what's needed. So yeah, by all means, I'll drop in the link for the COVID-19 testing website. But if anybody's got any questions, yeah, please feel free.
Aces, thank you. Now, there's one last question that I had, and I suppose it's not really a last question, but a question anyway. But if I was looking to book a holiday right now, with the information that we've got, where would I book? Where would you recommend us booking?
At the moment, I would consider the Portugal, Madeira and the Azores. We've got Gibraltar that you can look at. I'm just looking down the list now to see if anything has changed. That's probably the main ones. The other ones that were on the green list were like Tristan da Cunha, the Sandwich Islands. Half of us didn't even know where the Sandwich Islands were. The Falkland Islands, Reunion Islands. So at the moment, you're looking at the Portuguese islands. You're looking at, like I say, Gibraltar. There are a number of places on the amber list we believe will go onto the green list, and we believe this will be updated on the 1st of June. But yeah, by all means, look at Portugal. Just realise you've got to have 3 tests. Check your insurance. I mean, they had Alison Hammond on Good Morning Britain yesterday. She'd gone for 48 hours just for one night. And just the fact of being there, you could see the joy in her face, and everybody around her who'd arrived there were having a whale of a time.
Nice. So it is worth it. It is worth going away still.
Definitely. I mean, I did it last year and I can't say how it increased my mental health. I know there's a lot of people say, stay at home, you shouldn't be traveling. It's a choice. It's a complete choice. What I would say is, however you book it, make sure you check each government website before you book, and that you're happy to do the things that you're asked to make sure that you travel safely. And that whether that be putting a mask on the flights, all that type of thing. There's reports coming out today that people don't want to wear masks and things on the flights. That is part of the agreement. If you go on holiday, the airlines will ask you to wear masks on the flights as well. But yeah, once you've done those 3 or 4 things, you will have a wonderful time. And if you're worried or anxious about going on holiday, please go in the UK. There's some fabulous lodges. There's boats available. I've seen some beautiful new lodges, caravans come onto the market. And there's some fantastic adventure holidays being put together by the various tour operators, whether it be cycling, boating, yoga retreats. I think I put a yoga retreat on my Facebook page the other week. There's so many things on your own doorstep as well that you can really enjoy.
Brilliant. So next update is the 1st of June, did you say?
We believe so. Yeah, we believe the government will update on the 1st of June. I think at the moment they've only released very few countries to visit, and they're probably a bit of a guinea pig. They're obviously going to see what happens over the next 2 or 3 weeks when people come back from your Gibraltar holiday, from your Portuguese holidays, what happens. And they will obviously base it on the data, and any increases or decreases or, any sort of variant updates, they will then give us an update, we believe. But it could change, as we know. We're used to change now, aren't
we? We are. So just to finish off, can you just kind of recap maybe 2 or 3 of the key messages for the people who had to dip out and then come back into the live?
So if you're watching this on replay, you're watching this now. 1, I'm going to plug myself. Go to a travel professional, go to a good travel agent. They have the most up-to-date information, and that has been reiterated now by the media on so many occasions. Go with a good travel professional. 2, if you don't like change, you might not cope with being on holiday because things can change all the time. But once again, a good professional will help you with that. And number 3, make sure you're happy to adhere to the rules. So whether it be getting tests, wearing masks. And finally, number 4, if you do all this, you are going to have a wonderful time. It won't be exactly the same experience. There won't be as many holiday makers, but everybody in these countries are really looking forward to the UK market coming back to them. Thank you.
Aces, thank you very, very much for the time. I'm going to leave it there for now because we'll do another update in another couple of weeks' time. Just while it keeps evolving, let's just keep this conversation flowing. So let's kind of organise another live for just after the 1st so we can kind of keep people updated, if that's okay with you, Linda.
Yeah, that's good. And if anybody's got any questions in the meantime, feel free. And don't forget to watch Gary's Grow Show in September. I'm really looking forward to that.
Bless you. Bless you. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'm going to leave it there. We've been live for literally just under 15 minutes, which is pretty good. Loads of cool information. Linda, viewers, cheers, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Bye.